this week's Rated G. I am having a solo exhibit at Artwork Studios. October was busy. Holy The Poop Hallway is Disney's absurd new trend of defecating in ride lines. What? What is up, everyone? Welcome to another solo edition to the Rated G podcast. I'm your host, G. Terado. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back and thank you for your continued support. And for those of you who are new here, welcome to the show. Here on the podcast, I like to have a sit down with y'all and sometimes with fellow artists and creatives, and to have just to share and have honest discussions revolving art and creativity and other outlooks in life. And while we're having these conversations, we try to promote each other's craft, whether it be in the visual arts, music, poetry, acting, like whatever it be, right? So if you enjoy this type of content, please be sure to like, follow, subscribe, share, leave a comment if you have any thoughts or questions, and hit that notification bell. That way you can keep up with all the current uploads, especially if you are tuning in via YouTube. All right, if you're watching, definitely ring that bell. And when I do have guests on, be sure to check out the show descriptions, where I provide all the links to our social media in case you'd like to follow us beyond this podcast. It'll all be provided there. So yeah, let's get into it. Sorry. My cat's snoring over there, and he's also fighting a cold, so he's making some funny noises over there. Anyway, yeah, I've been wanting to do a solo recording for a hot minute now, actually, but just things like October has been busy. I'm gonna say that right now. And I'm gonna actually do a little recapping and reflecting on how the last month has been. But before that, I do want to share an update and an announcement. So I think I've talked about it once or twice or a few times here, that my wife and I have been house hunting all since spring or summer, and we finally locked in on a house. We're going through the process. I don't like to officially announce anything, especially in this case, until the keys are in our hands. But we finally locked in on a house, and going through all this like mortgage thing and being like a first homeowner, like the whole process is happening at this moment. So yeah, there will be some changes, especially my space. If you're watching, what you see behind me will change. And hopefully it will benefit the quality of the podcast. So yeah, we found a house, and I've got some goals, especially for my workspace. Like the size, the house, I will finally have enough space to have an art studio and a podcast space. So that's really nice. Because I've talked about it before. I want to have guests here with me talking shop or shooting the I've always, when I've had guests here, I've always tried to provide a very chill, relaxed space. So, I want to be able to improve on that with this future house. So, yeah, that's like the goal is you know, having, with the allowed space is really utilizing it to create a better podcasting atmosphere and an experience for my guests. So I'm really excited about it. I'm just kind of thinking or like remembering what what that part of the house looks like. Because yeah, it's gonna be nice, if things work out, and there's gonna be a lot of, there'll be gonna be a lot of steps to take for this. And anyway, just now I'm just like jibber jabbing. But yeah, that is the goal for at least the future of Rated G, is to start bringing on more local guests, especially, like even like returning guests. That'd be nice to actually have them in the space now, and get to, create better relationships and friendships. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. Because that's the thing, like I've had I had my buddy Bernie McCabe. I'm not gonna remember which episodes. Should I whip it? I don't know if I should whip out my uh I don't like to be the one to have to take out my phone for this. But I've had I've had guests here in my office uh numerous times. And God, I'm sorry, I'm losing. All right. Yeah, so I've had some guests here. And well, Bernie, he was a neighbor basically. He lived on the first floor. Um which, I'm just pointing that out because with everybody else who had to like actually commute here, uh I've always tried to, well, like, I smoke weed, so when I had a guest here, I've always offered, hey, if you want, like, if you're open to, like, if you're not self-conscious about your image and or anything like that, especially, considering like, when you're trying to promote your business, I do offer blunt sessions, so it's like, hey, let's again try to provide that very chill vibe, right? Like I, a lot of my relationships, my friendships, bonds have been like sparked just by literally sparking a blunt and like smoking and talking about stuff and just getting deep on like the things that we are into. So oh boy, got got lost in that train of thought there. So I'm trying to just, cultivate that with this new space. And um with the other guests that I've had here, that's what I was getting at. Yeah, um I've had Renee on, Mary, who else? Eleanor, who else? I think that's it actually. Almost a handful. Yeah, Bernie. Well, Vanessa. Shit. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, good times actually. But again, like I want to have those experiences more. And what I was getting at with, in terms of having live guests here is that I always, aside from, offering them to smoke with me, but I would try to yeah, I used to have like a bowl of liquid death, and if they want water, sparkling or regular water, I was trying to get like a do a sponsor. It's basically like a fake sponsor, I guess. Uh but I try to I try to sort of compensate, but like, because I do appreciate people that would actually come here. Uh, and so yeah, I mean, I would try to provide, I'd give water or whatever. I mean, if you want to have like alcohol, like my homie Twist, I think she brought beer or something, or maybe hard seltzers, um, but like I just again I want to cultivate that space, and I do try to be accommodating, and like yeah, I'll like my intention to when I have guests in my space is um I'm going to, what's the word, accommodate, I'm gonna reimburse their gas. So you know throw them a couple bucks for at least to reimburse you for spending, using your gas to come over here, and just I think that's like the professional thing to do, right? Anyway, I'm getting lost in this whole thing. That's the goal. That's as much as I want to share in regards to the future house. All right. I'm really excited to start a new chapter. Um, but yeah, that's that. And then also on the art front is that I am having a solo exhibit at Artwork Studios. For those who aren't familiar with Artwork Studios, it's this gallery in Richmond that I've been associated with, doing group art shows. And I think I've done three or four. I've done four total, I think. I can't remember right now. If not, then it's three. But because I got my last involved the last few exhibits that I was accepted in, I received honorable mention, which I've talked about it once or twice before, but I didn't think that was an actual thing. So it was nice to sort of get that, to have those achievements, because I didn't know that was like something you could achieve, honestly, on the gallery scene, on the exhibit scene. So yeah, and they have this nice deal that if you do three, up to three exhibits with them, whether it's yeah, themed or just any group exhibits, uh you are granted this free opportunity to have a solo exhibit, so to occupy space in their gallery, in their main gallery. So that's really cool. And yeah, I was able to obtain that, and it was nice. I was super nervous about my proposal because I've never, this is like all new to me. I never had to submit a proposal or like any type of art statement or anything like that. But the timing of all these things is rather um uncanny, because I'm going through this online academy, which I've spoken about. I've had my one of my recent guests is a member of that academy. Um, Definitely check that out. Her name is Lena Solga. Uh, that's a really good episode. Um, but yeah, so like I'm like kind of like developing my language, my art language, right? My message. I'm working on it more and more. So anyway, I've never submitted anything like this before, and I was super nervous. And it turns out, they accepted it. And I chose a date. It is July 26th of 2024. Yeah. And I mean, Again, I'm speaking as if I'm talking to new audience members. I'm going to be exhibiting my current art series, Tech Utopia. I've spoken about it heavily at nauseum on previous episodes, solo episodes, and with guests. So yeah, um, so that's happening. I'm really excited about it. If you want to know more about Tech Utopia, just fucking, I mean, check me out on social media. Art of G Terado. Uh, yeah, because it's something I've been very vocal about, and a lot of my personal work has been displaying that and messaging this, this dystopian future. Um, so yeah, I'm as of late, I've been becoming more and more comfortable, and I would even say a little more confident about talking about Tech Utopia and my overall messaging with this type of art. So yeah, I'm really proud right now. I'm very grateful, thankful, fortunate, all the above, right? Across the board that this is like working out because it moving down here, like that was part of the goal. That was one of my initial goals was being to able to have an actual exhibit of my work, not to just be part of one. I've been part of many group exhibits in the past, uh, and they're great. But yeah, I was like, I would love to just hold my own, and I don't expect to. I guess like people have been misled that being like an exhibit artist, like sure, I get like you can make a lot of money doing that, like if your stuff speaks to a great audience, a great population of art lovers. So, but there's a lot of it's squirrely, just like any other like industry, right? There's a lot of like ridiculous politics that go into this sort of like career path, and um yeah, so I'm not like expecting to like take this to like other countries. Like, I mean, that'd be a nice goal to go for. I'm kind of like just I'm just slowly climbing up that mountain, right? And I'm sure that's gonna be one of the stopping points, right? Anyway, getting lost in my thoughts there. Uh yeah, it's just nice to finally have this opportunity is where I'm getting at. But I do let's get into some recapping because October was fucking busy. Holy shit. More and more I think about it. Um oh, I just realized I had my Spotify open so I can name all the episodes. Jesus. All right, no. I trust you guys know how to navigate through this stuff. So if you're curious enough, just look through uh my catalog. Anyway, let's get back on track. October. Super busy. Um for a couple of things. For many artists, October is one of those other months that creatives will do a daily challenge. So you have the famous Inktober, which is uh which is a challenge that I always partake in every year, and I try to approach it, you know, s- slightly differently, not completely differently, but anyway, I'm very much in the books in that I use ink, with whatever art I create each day for Inktober. But I know there's Arttober and I saw someone do something called Badtober, which I don't know if they just made it up themselves or like if that's like an actual thing. So there's so many there's so many different like daily challenges like that, right? Anyway, uh so I was partaking in Inktober, and on top of in addition to that, I agreed to do this other uh challenge with my creative um impact academy. It's called the 2030 content challenge. So 5 days a week, we try to put out one piece of content like once a day, particularly like video content, right? Reels and such. And yeah, it's just to see like, and of course we're using tools from our lessons and stuff we discussed in our meetings and whatnot. Um, so we put it into practice with our own thing, right? We're trying to again find our language in our craft. I talked about it before, but find I do find my messaging clearer and clearer as I'm practice like just putting this stuff, in training. So I got these two, like daily challenges going on simultaneously, and then I got the house hunting and it's I mean the markets too. Like I had every weekend, or not every weekend actually. I find myself booking 3 weekends, right? But one of those weekends I'm doing a back-to-back day events. So yeah, but still busy month anytime I'm booking for events, right? So yeah, so many, and then the podcasting too, trying to keep the podcast live. Um, I've been sort of more flexible about, or not flexible, just more. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not as rigid about having my podcast out every week, like having a podcast out every week. Because if I'm being honest, right? Because if I haven't shown enough appreciation of the people that are responsible for the numbers I see in my in my YouTube onsites or all my insights. I said onsites, I think. In my insights, right? Seeing who's like tuning into my podcast or even just the shorts from my podcast. Like I'm very grateful that people give me the numbers that I see, right? Uh, but I know like if I don't put out a podcast for a week or two, no one's gonna come up to me and be like, "Hey, gee, what's going on, man? Haven't heard a new podcast in a while." So I'm just not putting that much pressure on myself anymore. Like I still very much enjoy doing these, especially when I have guests coming on. But yeah, it's just I don't know. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because up until what was it 173 or 172? I think it was 172. Up until then, yeah. I hadn't put out an episode in like a week or actually 3 weeks. I think I went out. So yeah, like I don't think I need to say anything further about that. But anywho, it's just been a crazy month. Uh, so Inktober, CIA challenges, CIA. Let me adjust my tie here for those that are listening. Every time I say CIA, I adjust my tie like I'm an agent, but that is not the case at all. uh, anyway, it's all been a great even though I'd fall behind like with Inktober, sometimes I'd fall behind and then I do like a day where I'm crunching in hours to catch up on all the prompts. But like yeah, I still find joy out of it. Like it's not soul crushing. Like I found ways to adjust so that I can keep up with the daily prompts. Like I don't do I did the first day. I learned so this was like something I had to learn immediately or not learn but I had to change immediately was that well this year I decided to pursue the Inktober challenge using the fountain pen. So I didn't even consider the fact that like I'm gonna be constantly dipping my pen and like this is the first time I've ever used it, right? Like I've had this starter kit that I was gifted at work or one of my previous jobs. And I never put it to use. So I'm like, all right, I've been wanting to do it. I say this a lot about other uh art mediums. Like I try to keep myself open to you know, try or go back to using other mediums. So this was one I wanted to try using, the utensil in particular to use for illustration. So the first prompt was dream. And so um this one was in the theme or rather the world of Tech Utopia, right? My art series, which will be showcased next year. um, and I did it. It's a 11 by 14 and done in not calligraphy, fountain pen, India ink, right? And I'm getting used to the strokes and everything. But the the thing like I had plans that day. I had a whole thing scheduled out. But that illustration took me all day because it was just too big, like the 11 by 14. Like I was able to do that last year. But I wasn't using I keep calling it calligraphy pen for some reason. I guess just because like that's what it's known for. But I just didn't anticipate the impact of like just using a whole different tool for this daily challenge. So I had to work smaller, right? In order for me to be able to keep up. Some people are able to do things in significant sizes and they can keep up or the whatever, right? The levels that people take it to with these challenges, more power to you, right? If you're working larger and much more uh layered than I am. Because again, like I'm sort of by the book. So Inktober for me is like, all right, your illustrations will just be done in ink. Sure, marker is an exception. Anyway, I'm losing track here. Yeah, I had to adjust to a smaller size. And because also like, if I'm lucky, I can sell these things. But chances are they're gonna sit in my space, and I can only handle so much clutter in my workspace. So, um, anywho, I'm sort of patting myself on the back for being able to finish strong. Um, and now I'm selling these small illustrations. I started packaging them into 5 packs and trying to sell them at these markets. So if you see me out there, and you see I have these Inktober uh, sketch packets, I guess you can call them. Yeah, fucking grab them. It's like a mysterious bag, right? I think people still love mysterious boxes and mysterious packaging. So you see, I always leave out, like, I always list the prompts that are in each set. But if you've been following me on social media, you'll know which, like, you'll know what you'll be getting. Uh, but yeah, anyway, like, that was a great learning process, and also appreciation of the tool itself and the process. Just having to, just easily just having to keep dipping and making sure you're getting enough ink and not too much ink, because some of those illustrations you can tell where just too much ink came out and bled. So, but you got to improvise, and that's why I love traditional mediums, is when you have to troubleshoot and improvise to make that natural mistake, like, work itself out, right? Or not work itself out, but like you help to make it work, right? And not look like a mistake. I mean, some people are very open about, like, yeah, that's a fuck up right there, whatever. Me, just being who I am, like, I don't want it to be too much of a distraction. So I try to make it work, make it fit in the overall big picture. But anyway, yeah, so I do plan on using the fountain pen more often. Um, and also, like, so because that first prompt dream for Inktober wasn't, I don't have it out, but I'll make sure I plug it in here. Um, yeah, I'm trying to sell that at shows. Actually, I might have to hold off on that one. But I'm actually selling that one separately from all the 5 packs. Just because that one is like, that was like time and labor in that shit. As for the other ones, they take me like an hour or less, maybe, depending how detailed it is. So anyway, that was a great fun experience. And then with the Creative Impact Academy, the 2030 challenge, that I've been doing a lot of digging, right? Talked about this before. And if you follow me on social media, that's why a lot of my content has been very heavy on the message, talking about Tech Utopia, why I create the art that I create. Uh, I'm been very heavy on that because of this 2030 challenge, and because I'm like going through these courses. So I really hope it benefits in that I'm able to make more connections with fellow artists, also connect with my audience, connect with I'll say openly, investors, like people that buy my art, whether they're buying originals, prints, people that are buying from me at these local markets, people that commission art from me. Like, um, I want them to be able to connect with me, and that's why I'm so, like, always going in on these things. So yeah, all of this has been very helpful. It's just, oh man, this past month has been, yeah, ooh, a bit overwhelming, I'm gonna admit. But you right, we always say you take the bad with the good, or the good with the bad. I think it's the bad with the good. The good, the bad, the bad, the good. But I do agree with that. Um and sometimes the bad isn't completely bad. Like, there's good that comes out of it anyway. So it's like, almost sometimes it's like a double win. Anywho, uh so that's enough talk about the challenges. I'll do a quick recap on the events. All right, because I always say I'm not gonna take too long with these sort of breakdowns, but shit, I take a long time. So, but yeah, the events, it's good. It's a decent mixture of results for each event. Um, I had a great start um with the first Friday Moon Market. I've talked about Moon Market plenty of times. I preach about them. Uh, I even have a vlog on my YouTube. So if you're watching, again, check it out. Check out all my other content. But yeah, I have a vlog on some of their events, and yeah, I the this organizer, shout out to Lauren. Her name's Lauren. But shout out to you because, like, I'm always grateful to be part of your events. Anytime you throw them down, I'm always excited about them and always hope that I can get in on it. And yeah, just I tend to have a good amount of success at these markets. And yeah, so the first Friday was great. Um I would say, like, my main takeaway from that event, you know, starting off October was well, I actually I said it earlier. I'm becoming more comfortable sharing the story of Tech Utopia with the people that stop by, because, like, my thing is, my thing has always been, like, not everybody wants to see, like, this dark stuff, right? Like, the world is already crazy as is, so people um are attracted and gravitate towards, like, just visually pleasing um art, colorful, vibrant stuff. And uh and I only think my work, it only displays that when I'm not working on Tech Utopia, right? But yeah, just, I've been, like, really talking about it and been more vocal about it with the crowds, which has actually compelled some people to buy prints. So it's very gratifying and rewarding that has been the result anytime and every time I've spoken about Tech Utopia. So again, that's why I'm so excited that I'm going to have this exhibit. Um, so that was a great start, right? That was a great first Friday. And then the next day, there was another event in Charlottesville, uh, which is a city that I praise because I've always had great turnouts in that area anytime I'm vending there. And just the crowd, like, they appreciate art. But I think because of the event and the organizers, it wasn't the same organizer. And that is why I believe the result, for me at least, and sure, I sound selfish right now, maybe narcissistic, but I didn't have a good turnout there. And it's funny because on first Friday, that was it was the theme was fire. It was Carnival of Five Fires. And this event was it's called the Mini Fest, but it was organized by this also fire dance performance group. Um, they were organizing it, so it was like, having back to back fire themed events. Like, wow, you know. Um, but yeah, so I've had some doubts with this one before it went down, because just the way it was marketed, um, and even just the communication with their vendors, in terms of providing information on, like, all right, the loading in time, and where to park, and, like, just like the layout and the blueprint of the event, right? Usually organizers will send all this type of information out, days, like a week prior to the event. But it was very wishy-washy with these people, and yeah, that's my main takeaway with the result of that event. Like it was just bad marketing. I mean, it was like a fundraiser too, right? They're trying to raise money. Um, I think for their business. I don't want to say who because I don't want to like diminish them. I'm kind of like throwing some shade, I guess, but I'm not gonna say the name. Um, but like they're just like the content they were putting out, the marketing they were putting out was just about them, and instead of like trying to draw the crowd in by letting them like giving them the vendor lineup too. Like there was a few vendors there, and yeah, like they really made it just about them. They didn't really like mention that there were gonna be vendors there. It felt scarce, like, oh my goodness, like I was gonna do a vlog because like that's the thing. I like to do vlogs when I'm attending events and just to share the experience of what it's like to be a vendor, an art vendor. And but this one, I was like, all right, maybe I won't, because there wasn't a lot of traffic. And like another thing I realized too is that they were charging tickets. Like there was an admission to get in, and they were charging quite a lot. Again, this was like a fundraising event. I mean, I'm sure like that money is going towards their fundraiser, but it's just like just again, the marketing needed help. And I think that's why it just led to an underwhelming turnout. Again, that's my personal opinion, but all I'm going to say is to end on that note is that many of us, if not all of us, packed up early and left. So that's all I'm going to say. Like I waited almost to the very end, if not the end, but I was one of the last ones to stick around. So it is what it is, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. Uh then the next market I had was the Monster Night Kismet Market. And boy, like I was really excited about this one. But the turnout did not it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, or like I was hoping for, because I agreed to be not to be, but to demo at my table, which I usually do when there's an offer for it. Uh but there were limited 10 by 10 spaces, which is what I actually require if I'm going to use my grids and my um print canopy. Uh so I requested a 10 by 10 space, but for some reason this somehow, well, not somehow, whatever, a 10 by 10 spot, or the last 10 by 10 spot, was taken by a vendor that didn't ask for it, didn't request for it. But they had all their shit out already. Sorry, I'm not, if I'm, not because I'm still annoyed, but I tried to be the bigger person. I was like, look, you already got all your stuff out and displayed. I'll let you keep it. Let's just find another like out like 8 by 8, right? At least. So I saw the spaces that were still available, and I don't know. At that point, I just wasn't thinking clearly. But we were like the spaces that were available, they were next to the food vendors. So I ended up being right next to the food vending section, where I could have had other like better, more ideal spots, but I was just like, all right, fucking, let's just take this one. And yeah, I mean, I demoed, quote unquote, right? I demoed, but I was really just catching up on Inktober that night. But I ended up not demoing for the rest of the night because I was just like, you can't even see that I'm doing anything back there. Like we had my grids. I like to fan my grids out. That's why I need that 10 by 10 space. But they were placed behind the table. So, it kind of just the visual for like, all right, you want to see G, do his thing, just go to his table. But like, yeah, it's peek behind the grid, and it was a bit of a mess. But I was lucky to still make money. Uh, you know, I have to thank the kids for that. Because there was really the kids that helped me make sell prints. Their parents like, all right, you like that print? There was a little girl that loved one of my Moana pictures, and then there was a kid that was dressed up as a Ninja Turtle, so they bought a Ninja Turtle print. So that was cool. Um, damn train. So yeah, that was I'm trying to like constantly look on the bright side. So like there was some nice exchanges there, but I was just like, this could have turned out better. And I could have been better about it too. Like I wasn't thinking clearly about it. I'm sure Nicole was like telling me, no, how about here? And I was like, like I was already in a bad mood. Wah, wah. Anyway, so that's my takeaway from the whole thing is, you know, I let a vendor steal my spot. And yeah, it wasn't ideal, but whatever. Like it is what it is. I like doing the Kismet market because there is no actual vendor fee. It's more of a donation to a charity. So I'm more than happy to make to donate than spend like it's a good amount of money for vendor fees. So sometimes it's like half the fee. So I'd rather make that donation than a full vendor fee, you know. Anyway, I plan on doing more stuff with them. I just have to be very strategic about like what's the theme or if it's like the holiday. So lastly, the last one uh that I did, and this was a good way to finish strong in terms of events, was the Kasama Collective Filipino Heritage Month celebration. Actually, Kasama Collective and the Filipino American or Asian American it's a whole acronym. It's based in Virginia, but it's like FAACV. Maybe Filipino Asian American Community of Virginia. I could look it up, but I don't want to waste any more time on that. But yeah, anyway, they were putting together because that was a thing. Like October is was is sorry, is Filipino American History, or just Filipino History Month. So um it was nice to be a part of that. I've talked about this too. I've been vocal about reconnecting with my roots, and just like surrounding myself with more flips. So that was actually fun. I didn't realize till we got closer to the date of the event that there was like a karaoke thing they're doing, because so this the venue for this event was super convenient because it was basically in our backyard. It was that mainline brewery, and it's walking distance. Not if I'm lugging all my equipment, but so it's like it's literally right behind our building, and Yeah, they have live performances outside. It's a great outdoor space, honestly, because they got games like family games and stuff. They got like the what do they call it, like giant beer pong or pong, whatever. Um, cornhole. It's a great outdoor space, and so they had like a karaoke session on the stage, and it was fun. There was some very talented singers, and then some not so talented. Uh, but that was fun because I like during the karaoke, I was telling my neighbor that I was like, man, I feel like I'm at my dad's friend's like Filipino party, at a barbecue. So that was nice. That was kind of what's the word? Endearing. Um, so I was very happy to be a part of that, and I'm trying to be more involved again in the community. Although I still feel a little different. I still feel like a black sheep when I'm amongst my people. It's weird, but I'm still trying to you know stay in there and be active. So that was really fun. And actually, the last thing I want to share about that day, that was, it was the highlight of my day. Non-Asian, it's not related to the Asian Filipino theme at all, but still very, again, endearing, and gratifying too. Is that uh a customer that bought a print from me at First Friday, um, actually happened to be at this event. They spotted me, and the print that they bought from me was Zombie. They spotted me, came up and shared that since buying that print, they were just so like uh, I don't know, it made such an impact on them that they went through like this. They meditated, and then I guess like after meditation, they ended up creating their own illustration, and they've admitted that they're not an artist. Uh, so they showed me the picture too, which I wish I had them send it to me because I would I would have loved to share it, but it was very like it was very the theme of it was in relation to the zombie picture, because there's like these prongs sticking out of the this woman in the painting, and but she was uh, they were saying just I guess like I don't know, it was a positive outcome, like how they felt, I guess, like after doing the meditation and then even doing some like art therapy, and and it ended up with a very positive outcome for them. So just to hear that from them, knowing, because they were actually, when I first met them at First Friday, I believe they were just perusing through my portfolio, and then and they were admiring something else on my grid, I believe. And then once I started pointing out some of these things about, well, the art series overall and then particular pieces, because some of the pieces I have, they have subliminal words in them. And zombie is one of them. And when I shared that and then shared the background of the piece, they were like, oh man, I gotta buy this one. So you know, uh so again, it's like, so the fact that they shared this whole experience with me, like that just made me feel so good, and really reinforced like why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, why I'm being so vocal about my story and displaying it. That was like another thing I was very hesitant about, coming out to the community, the more events I started, in the beginning when I just started doing events with him, I wasn't putting as much Tech Utopia stuff because I wasn't sure how people were going to react to it. Now it's been received quite well. People are relating to a lot of stuff that I've been sharing. So, again, it's just I do feel proud right now because I am connecting with people that way. But anywho, that was like my highlight of that day was reconnecting with this this person. I'll call them a friend. Why not? Just reconnecting with this friend and hearing their story. It was nice. And Nicole was there to witness it. So like, I mean, not that it would matter if she was there or not. I would have still enjoyed the conversation we had. But I don't know. I want to ask her about that. Because at that time she was like, yeah, that was kind of cool to see that, to hear that. So yeah. Anyway, that's October for you. Yeah, wild ride. But before we move on, I do actually want to transition to some plugs real quick. All right, because I'm talking about the last events that I did. I want to talk about the remaining events that I have for November. All right, November 17th, which is a Friday, I'm doing an event with Kasama Collective once again, and they're collaborating with House of Contessa, the Yellow Peril drag show, and it's going to be at Basic City Beer. So I'm excited to be, being out there with Kasama Collective once again. Happy to be back at Basic City Beer. Haven't been there since January. Or no, that's a lie. That was when I was vending. But anywho, good to be back over there and with them. So that's where I'll be on the 17th. And then Saturday, the next day, the 18th, I'm going to be with Moon Markets once again at Stone Brewing. And it's actually, I didn't know this until recently. It's going to be their 10th anniversary. So that's exciting. And I'm happy to be a part of it. Like I said, I feel like, I feel like I'm at home, in a sense of like different organizations. When it comes to Moon Market, I feel the most comfortable, the most confident. Yeah, I mean, I'm becoming more and more friendly with the vendors there. Like, we're just seeing each other more often. So it's been nice. And that's where I'll be, November 18th, Moon Market, 10th anniversary at Stone Brewing. And for these two events, I'm doing event commissions. Right? I used to do this years ago back in Jersey, and I loved doing it. And when I tried introducing that here, I wasn't doing so well, and I wouldn't get commissions at events, so I stopped offering them. But I'm gonna put it back out there. I want to offer it, actually, just to make my art more accessible that way, especially personalized art. All right, so just keep that in mind. November 17th, November 18th, come by. If you don't see anything you like at my table, you can always commission something. All right. And speaking of commissions, private commissions, right? This is a big one. If you want to commission art from me privately, you will receive an automatic 10% discount on your first commission. And if you book me now, I don't know if booking is like if that's the right term, but if you hire me, book me, whatever, fill in the blank. But if you contact me now, there will be an additional 10% holiday discount. All right, so this is a great way to save money on personalized art. So don't hesitate. Reach out to me if you want to. Again, this could be for the holidays, or it could be a birthday, anniversary or just any other special occasion for next year. If you hit me up now, if you hit me up now, you will receive that holiday discount on top of your first time commission. So 20%. All right. We could say no to 20% off. So that's that. Let's move on. I kind of want to finish off with something real quick. Just a couple of things that caught my attention because I do like to cover some things that are happening with the world these days. Are becoming more and more chaotic. WTF, man. I'm not gonna go too deep because this is like a rabbit hole that is like, ooh. Actually, I might have to hit my bowl for this one and take a swig of my water because look, I'm not trying to like, I'm like really not trying to present myself as any type of phobic here, all right? I'm just addressing how wild society is becoming. Anyway, so pronouns, right? Pronouns, people are really, they're really on their shit about identifying with certain pronouns. I just think it's kind of outrageous that people are actually identifying as nouns. Right? Nouns. People are identifying as nouns. This has been a thing on top of everything else that's happening right now. And I just found this out. And I saw a video on YouTube. I forget who like on what account. I couldn't watch the whole thing because it was like I was actually I think I was actually getting triggered. It was super cringy. I mean, come on, guys, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like I try to be open-minded here, but sometimes like there has to be a line somewhere. Like I'm all about free thinking and progressing and all that good stuff, man. I'm all about that growth, right? We're trying to enforce, we're trying to uplift diversity, inclusion, equity, acceptance. But goddamn, some of these things that these like activists, I'll say, like you guys are really like pushing it, man. Like there needs to be we need boundaries, like more like moral boundaries. Like I feel like we're really losing some morality here, and it's just crazy because we're talking about progressive people, right? So I don't know, man. I just think it's ridiculous that people are now not only identifying as people, but they are identifying as places and things. Okay, like what the. And then something else that caught my attention. I saw a headline. It said the poop hallway.
Oh my god!
What? Apparently, let me pull up this article. I'm gonna try to quickly get through this one. But the poop hallway is Disney's absurd new trend of defecating in ride lines. What? I am so I've been to Disney twice now in my life. In my recent years. I am so happy that I've never witnessed this when being online for a ride or any line for anything, food, shows, rides. Because goddamn, really have we like gotten this low as a person? What the hell? So let's see, real quick. Twice in the last month, Disney parks guests have taken to social media to share the disgusting sights that they witnessed in ride lines at Disney World in Orlando, Florida, and Disneyland in Anaheim, California. In quotes, someone who wrote on Reddit, I am in the queue of I am in the queue for Rise of the Resistance at Disney World. Someone let their kid take a dump on the floor and then they just walked out and left it. Wow. Many thought that perhaps this user was just sharing this insane story for publicity and for attention. However, it is actually true. In quotes, for the skeptics, this actually happened. Fun fact, this was one of 3 shit related incidents at Rise today. Less fun fact, I was here for all 3 of them when user responded. This was not only the Reddit thread to mention defecation inside a ride line at Disney's Animal Kingdom in Walt Disney World. A guest shared that Disney cast members have dubbed a section of Flight of Passages ride line the the poop hall due to the number of people who's someone going have gone to the bathroom there. Why that sentence structure felt that felt weird getting through that one. In quotes, bodily fluids no longer bother me after working at Disney, the guest wrote on Reddit. Let's just say that the attraction I work at has what the cast ended up dubbing the poop hall because of the number of times guests have gone in there and pooped. We even put up a camera and it didn't stop it. Good Lord. The poop hall. Another commenter responded before continuing from a former flight CM. This absolutely gives me a war flashback. I dealt with way too many bodily fluids at the dang attraction. Yo, this is wild. Again, I'm glad I never witnessed this going. And man, this brings up concerns, man. Because like I have a friend who works there because they are as far as I know, they are still casted as Disney princesses. Oh boy. I almost forgot. Princess Jasmine and Princess it's the Spanish princess. She's not known for film, but she has a TV series. Why can't I think of it? I apologize. Yeah, I can't think quickly right now. It'll probably come to me later after recording and be like, oh yeah, that one. Anyway, yeah, she's a princess in Florida, right? That's Disney World. Or Disneyland. Which one is it? I always get them. Yeah, Disneyland, I think. I always get them mixed up. Anyway, that's besides the point. Damn, people are shitting. Like I remember it used to be exclusive that like people in China would shit in public. But like people here doing it on these lines at these attractions, these parks, these family friendly parks. Man, what the fuck? I mean, I get it. The lines are ridiculous. And God forbid you lose your position in line and you're not able to get the those bands, right? Because that's the thing. We were able to get the bands so we can get to the shorter lines. But god damn, that's crazy. That shit's going on. But anyway, when all these crazy shit going on, I have a new addiction with YouTube, and that is instead of like I guess like death scrolling on reels, TikToks and stuff like that. I found a new addiction that is watching videos of quote unquote lefties getting owned during debates, like town hall debates with certain public figures such as Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, so on and so forth. Yeah, I get a sense of like I guess I get a dopamine rush out of it. I don't know. In one sense, it's probably not good. Like that's my feel good thing to do. But in another sense, this could be this is actually educational about today's society for sure. Because I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know everything that's going on today. I tune in and tune out selectively, based on my interest, of course, but also like based on like, all right, how's this gonna benefit me and how's it gonna affect me mentally, like my psyche? Because I'm seeing people really kind of lose their shit on certain uh conflicts. So I mean, hey, I'll include myself in that group too. Like I lost my shit and I continue to lose my shit with these crazy things. But it's just like I guess, and also, hey, I do take offense with lefties being associated with I guess like these like extreme progressives or extreme liberals, because I am a lefty, but only in a sense that I am left-handed when I write and draw and paint. Creatively, I am a lefty, but my right hand is dominant. Okay. So when anytime I see lefties included in the headline, I'm triggered. I'm offended. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I'm like, oh, come on. uh, if I want to be like, yo, where my lefties at? It's just like, oh, people are gonna probably assume I'm talking about the political group. Like, no, I'm talking about left-handed people. Where you at? But it's just so funny watching these debates because these people have some of these related attributes, right? Progressives seem to retreat from these debates or conversations, arguments, whatever. They always seem to retreat by being defensively rude, or by screaming, and even barking. I saw one with this, I'm going to say, biological woman, although I don't think they identified. So yes, I'm being disrespectful in that way. But this person, I guess they were kind of losing the argument or losing control of their argument, that they barked. They literally barked. And I don't know, they were like kind of like they were going back and forth. There was two women that were holding this sort of debate hall. Is that a thing? Debate hall or whatever, you know? Uh so there's two women on the podiums that were like answering these questions, right? And the person that asked the question lost their shit and barked. It was so weird, but they did it so casually, where like one of the speakers was like, "Did they just bark?" And I was like, "Yeah, for real. Did they just fucking bark and just like we're just not gonna acknowledge it?" It's so fucking weird, man. Anyway, excuse my French. But yeah, it also appears like active college students, or they may be as dumb as me. Like, I'm not trying to claim to be like any type of intellectual or anything like that, right? Um, but I don't know, man. When it comes, I feel like there's common sense in a lot of this shit, and just I guess like the shit that these people are just programmed. Whatever they're programming to, like whatever they're programmed to, like, goddamn, the results are shown, and it's sad because you're out there coexisting with us, and there's like part of the chaos. Yeah, I just don't know why they always revert to that action when they're losing control of an argument. They just dip out and like curse them out, or they just like stand there and scream, or they bark, and that's just weird. Um, in addition to the like these sort of like these hall and like auditorium debates, like I there's like people like I watch like the people on like at the park or like on the sidewalk being interviewed. Like I like watching. I've been enjoying that type of content as well. So again, like I don't think it's purely like I don't think it's uh completely good for my mental health, but it's educational. So I'm just taking the good with the bad there. Um and then the last topic I'm gonna talk about uh in regards to society. Um it's just like people are skewing the definition of our English language, right? Creating new terms and like new slang. Like I get it, slang, like whatever. But like there's these new terms that people are coming up with. I mean, they're also fucking tweaking the definition of words too, which I really don't like because it just feels like lies, and it makes it difficult for people like myself to understand like what you're trying to say, because you're misconstruing the words, like you're twisting the meaning of things. It's like like ugh. Anyway, so yeah, like for instance, right, in terms of like creating new words and phrases and whatever, like cisgender man, cis man or cis woman, right? Because when you add cis, that means like you're a biological gender, right? Let's just leave it as is. Like if you're gonna address a biological being, right? Just say man or woman. Let's stop fucking using the word cis because it's unnecessary. All right, come on, guys. God. Another one is able-bodied, right? Able-bodied, um, pre-disabled. Like seriously? Come on. The last one I'll mention, because this again I'll fall into a rabbit hole of this shit too. Uh Changing files to minor attracted persons. Come on. Fuck that shit. See that you're just clearly catering to the individual's feelings. Even though that person's kind of fucked up, like they're touching young kids, but they're not files. No, no, no. They're minor attracted people. What the fuck? I'm sure once they go to jail, once they go to prison for that shit, the inmates, they don't give a fuck. They're gonna call you a fucking. I'm sure they have other terms for like their own slang, right? At the big house, but out here, no, you're a fucking pedophile, man. I don't give a fuck what you want to be identified as. You're a pedophile because that's what that is. And it's just crazy that there's like a population of people that are like, no, let's not call them pedophiles. Let's call them minor attracted people. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. I'm gonna leave it at that. Um, at least with that bullet point there. Okay. Um, right. Turning. Oh, another thing. Well, this is right. These are just kind of pet peeves at this point. Right. Um, Turning nouns into verbs. People's adulting. Just living a life as an adult. Yeah. Now we call it adulting. Mathing. We'll be like, oh, the math isn't mathing. It's like, oh, it's just look, I know I sound like a bitch, but it does hurt my ears. It makes me cringe when I hear that happening with words. So it's like, man, you're wording, bro. People aren't wording. Like, no, wait, wording works though, because like that already exists. But the math thing, come on, the the adulting, eh, come on. My wife, she was joking, but she said peopling. Like, come on, man, just stop. And then actually a friend said logicking. And I was so close to be like, what the fuck is logicking? But yeah, I digressed, fortunately. Um, but it's just like, yeah, we keep fucking with the language here, and I feel like, you know, if we stop doing that, there may be less communication, because I really think communication is just so fucked up right now. Um, and yeah, I just feel like we need to stop fucking with the English language. You know, it's good, just for the sake of foreigners trying to learn our language when they come here to America, right? Um, so yeah, I feel like if there was less of that, you know, doing this shit with the English language, I really feel like it would just, I don't know, man. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, because my English language, it's in itself is terrible. And I'm complaining about the English language right now. And I was born and raised here. I should know my English should be very good. I should be able to speak eloquently. No, but for real, like I see a lot of like funny videos where like foreign comedians talking about, is that the right term? Anyway, stand up comics from other countries talked about the English language, and I've a lot of their bits are related to the difficulty of learning. If you want to become a American citizen here, right? So I can only imagine the frustration in trying to learn the English language, because we keep doing this weird shit like cis woman when talking about a biological woman, or I mean, I could come up with, there's so many examples, but my brain is just not, it ain't wired that good to be able for quick thinking. So bear with me. But anyway, that's like my last pet peeve in regards to, you know, English language, uh, just the way we communicate with ourselves or with each other. Um, and just to put a little, I guess I'll put a little shade towards the progressives, because I feel like it's the progressive people that are like making up these words, right? Like the extremes, right? That's just me. Um, I'm sure I come off very arrogant or ignorant or both, whatever. I'm just speaking my mind here. All right. Um, but yeah, it's just like I don't want to end this episode. It's only yeah, we fucking did 90. Of course we did 90 minutes. But I didn't, I don't want to I didn't want to end on like this on this note. But it is what it is. And I have a quote here I want to share while we start wrapping this up. It's a quote by Douglas Murray. He's an author. Uh, I, if I was a professional, I'd have the books that he wrote in front of me. Like I'd have the titles at least. But this is a quote by Douglas Murray. He's well known for talking about today's society, and it was actually from him where I learned I learned of this his theory on like oh, actually, theory might not even be the word, but he spoke about how during like the signs of a falling civilization, a failing civilization, they tend to obsess over gender. So that's from whom I've learned this from or heard this from. So this quote, he says, the liberal mind is so open it can no longer distinguish between different ideas. So, like, do I have where that what came from? No, sure, of course. But, you know, I think this is relatable into what I've been talking about because, like, the things are becoming like are so fluid that it's hard. It's becoming more and more difficult to decipher on like which thing is uh which thing is which, right? It's hard to find differences in things when everything is becoming so fluid now. You can't just like have any distinctions on anything because I identify as this and that and the other, like whatever, right? Whatever the topic being. But everything ideas are becoming so fluid. Yeah, there is no distinguished ideas. Different ideas, as he says in the oh wow, he's a distinguished. Wow, I'm my brain is now just going like, what are you talking about? But what I'm trying to articulate here is that yes, because the progressives are just getting so loud with their arguments and really trying to push their influence on society with these things. It's like, again, like I try to be open-minded, but I do believe there are lines in order to preserve our moral standards, really. And I just think like when you go so far off one end, like it just, especially here, speaking in terms of liberals, the progressives, whatever, like it's hard to distinguish things. And I know I'm like repeating the same words, but it really is hard to like, everything is so situational. But when you like enforce these ideologies, having like the gender neutral bathrooms and stuff, like it's like, nah, man, like let's not, right? Let's for the safety, physical safety of our people, why not just have the male or female? Or you know what? I see family bathrooms, right? Because sometimes you might have, I don't know, you might have a dad bring in their daughter to change their diapers in the bathroom, or you might have a mom bring in their son to change their diapers. Sometimes I see dads bring in their daughters in the men's bathroom because, like, it's just them two out there, and he wants to be able to supervise her and make sure, you know, she's not doing anything, or she's unharmed. So, like, I get it. So, anyway, uh, yeah, this liberal mindset, it's that's what it's offering. Sure, there's a lot of inclusion and stuff, but boy, are you making a lot of things difficult for a lot of people as well. And yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I made sense of anything at this point. Look, I'm rusty. It's hard for me to keep things condensed into 60 minutes or less. So I apologize. All right, people. I apologize. Um, Look, the world is crazy. And I'm just gonna say stay safe, stay healthy, and stay driven. All right. Because the world is crazy. And we got to remember that we are in this together. All right. So that being said, yeah, anyway. My brain is dying right now. I'm just like, "Brrr." Yeah, I hope to see you guys back here. Don't forget, if you enjoyed any of this, please like, follow, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Even if you don't like this stuff, go ahead, leave some hate in the comment section. I'm open to it. And also be sure to ring the notification bell. That way you can keep up with the current uploads, whether it's the podcast or other content on YouTube, especially. And yeah, I will catch you on the next one. Peace out, everyone.